Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, also published on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Yeah, yesterday I didn't manage to do a live stream again. Got a pretty busy day, especially around about dinner time. Then I got a little bit busy. I was not able to get around and do some live stream there. But yeah, and that again, as I said, I cannot commit to a fixed schedule there. When I can, I do dive on some live streams at least a couple of hours when I do so. Yeah, I'll try to do something today. We'll have to. I will have to wait and see how the day works out for me. But yeah, let's go for some news. Um, Similarly, we got kind of a response from Sony regarding yesterday coverage of the DRM stuff there on the PlayStation Store purchases regarding the 30-day license expiring if you don't connect the PlayStation online and all that jazz. Again, we got an official statement from a Sony Interactive Entertainment spokesperson, which I think Sony Interactive is like above PlayStation corporations, if not mistaken. Again, even though the statement says that players can continue to access and play their search game as usual, a one-time online check is required to confirm the game's license, after which no further checks-ins are required. Again, this is doesn't address the findings. Again, I assume the fact that again, uh, I don't know if they have time to check the complaints or the discoveries there from those specific users that delve into this to address them directly. But again, it doesn't address that. Again, I'm not sure the person that asked the question or if this statement came by their own initiative. Again, if it was a response to an inquiry from some outlet there, I'm not sure if that question addressed specifically what the issue is, but it's a very broad strokes reply here or statement regarding this situation. Again, hopefully there is further further clarification addressing specifically this situation, that negating that there is this situation happening, because again, this doesn't deny anything from this 30-day license timer that people discover there. It just says that supposedly, again, you just buy the game, it does then check the license to your account, and supposedly that's it. Um, Again, supposedly that's how the system should work. But then again, the fact that we had that thing with the 30-day thing there on specifically on recent purchases is not something that it's been occurring for some time now, and now people discover this is something very recent. Yeah, there is no official deny of this need to be done on specifically new purchases on your PlayStation Store account there. Again, hopefully they can clarify better, but until then, this is the quote that we got. In terms of other stuff, supposedly Windows is getting, or Microsoft people are getting their balls squeezed, given that we've been seeing some huge changes, specifically government-wide side, because usually I assume that's how their business works, or at least a lot of their income comes from Microsoft is the base install on, for example, government infrastructure on their devices there, and plus all the add-ons there, for sure, the software there. And we saw recently, at least that I can recall recently from the top of my hand, was the government of France. Everything government related in terms of PCs, laptops, and devices will be changing to Linux based systems instead of Windows. I think there was another country or so that is trying to migrate to also Linux. Again, I'm not sure which one, but France, again, it's a huge European country, very government heavy, reliant government. Um, so again, I think Microsoft is seeing the fact that again, even us, we've been shouting all over the place that Windows is bloated, the AI Copilot stuff there, the screensaver and capture stuff that is being introduced, plus the fact that the Microsoft CEO came trying to force feed AI in every person that works in Microsoft have to has this AI agent, let's say, or companion, which is Orwellian, just thought of it. And again, Windows specifically is been suffering a lot in terms of quality updates. We saw some reports that people do the updates and then Windows get stuck in a boot loop. A lot of weird stuff, no quality on the updates there. A lot of the number of updates per month without any proper Q&A testing. Again, it's a shit show. And a lot of people, even specifically gamers, are been changing to Linux based from Steam OS, which is gaining a lot of traction. And supposedly they are trying to change the tide there. Supposedly, again, this is I don't think this is official yet from Microsoft, but it seems that they are working on a K2 kind of a thing here, which is not the new Windows. It's basically a quality update, let's say, which is basically trying to improve performance, reliability, UI consistency, AI clutter, and pre-install content. And again, they claim that this is targeting gaming performance with SteamOS used as benchmark, which means that using the same hardware, the benchmarks, or at least the performance should be the same, or at least what they're aiming there. And basically, it's one of the big things they are trying to cover also is faster file explorer navigation, search, fewer update restarts, which is good, a new WinUI user interface free, system compositor, and rebuild start menu. Again, hopefully they are putting their shit together, let's say, and come up with, I don't know, a better baseline, like update and to remove all the clutter that people usually don't need, and trying to also mitigate the resource usage, specifically when it's on idle. But then again, this is coming from Windows Central claims, like a bullet points of what they're trying to achieve there. Again, one of those lower idle memory, less AI clutter, less pre-install content, which is better, I suppose. Again, the fact that less AI clutter doesn't mean less AI features. More responsive context menu, start menu, taskbar, gaming performance closer to SteamOS, which is good for me. And fewer required restarts. The UI, specifically on the start menu, is a shit show. Removal of start menu ads, which is good, and MSN no longer shown by default on the widgets board. Again, it's been a while. I don't pay too much attention. I don't stick too much on the start menu, but yeah, hopefully this will come as soon as possible. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see regarding if this is true. We need, again, official confirmation that Windows is working on this. But until then, we got a few claims. Again, I'm assuming inside the engineers and stuff like that. Hopefully, they can improve also the Q&A regarding the update launches, because, again, it's been a shit show. We saw some reports that they were using AI, machine learning algorithms to do the updates on certain things. And again, they're not good. But yeah, hopefully they can get their thing together there. And then we got here Chinese GPU. I think I already covered a couple of times this GPU maker, Lisuan. I'm not sure if this is how pronounced. They already launched GPU. I covered that. Again, not good. And this is the 7G100 gaming cards. The main difference here is WHQL certification. Again, similar has NVIDIA, sorry, NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel have to go through this process of Microsoft certification for drivers. They are certified on that, which is a good thing here because again, it should be come out of the box. Just install the drivers, you can play games. And one of the things that is interesting, even though we don't have a specific launch date, but we also don't have any price listings. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. In terms of specs here, it's a 6 nanometer GPU chip. Supposedly comes with 12 gigabytes of GDDR6, 192-bit bus interface, and PCI 4.0 times 16. Again, I'm not a. I don't know what this. I know what it is, but I don't know how this will translate in terms of performance, which is 192 TMUs, 96 ROPS, and a maximum TDP of 225 watts, which is basically just a single 8-pin connector. Again, should handle 4 display ports, 1.4A outputs. Then we got some AV1 encoding functionality, 4K 30. Again, not so good, but it got the HEVC 8K 30 frames per second encode. Again, this is trying to aim, from what I understand, around about the RTX 4060. So it should be like a very, at least what we have on the market, a very entry-level GPU, like 1080p gaming. Again, the only benchmarks that we have is from the previous time that I covered this, I think a couple of months now, where they did only basically some synthetic benchmarks. So we don't have, given that this is a new GPU, we might have kind of a sense for what kind of performance they're trying to aim. And basically it just reached around about 4060 kind of performance there on those synthetic benchmarks. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Supposedly there is another company, Fuxi, that they are trying to get a 5 nanometer GPU production starting this year. But again, we don't know exactly any more details at this moment. Again, we saw this. I saw this happening long time ago, and I've been saying this for a long time. On the overall scheme of things, given that we had since those not tariffs, sorry, those embargoes on the higher end GPUs, starting at least with the 4090. I think it started with the 4090 GPUs that had like they had to have limited specifically for China market. Same thing happened with the 5090. Again, the specs of those GPUs cannot pass through a certain amount of processing power. And at the time, I remember saying you're basically trying to force China of pulling up resources and start doing their own GPUs domestically. And it will eventually create an independence in terms of outside companies to provide them with the GPUs. Again, this comes more regarding the AI stuff there a few years ago. But yeah, we're starting to see this. It's been a couple of years since I remember covering this and having kind of this prediction, let's say. The same thing is happening with CPUs. We saw this happening, for example, with cell phones, the UA, and even Xiaomi. Again, when you start trying to pressure and circle around and try to block a country like China, which is a bigger manufacturer of basically everything in the world to a certain point, broadly speaking, and has a lot of resources to spend on developing their own thing. We saw this starting to happen. Again, hopefully they can deliver at least a 4060 comparable GPU there in terms of at least gaming performance. And hopefully it's a start of something new. Again, it's kind of starting the same way that Intel did or try to did with the but not Battle Mage, Alchemist GPUs there. And if it is successful, probably they have a fallback plan with a Fuxi kind of a GPU there, for them to start mass producing these things. Again, this supposedly is aimed for the moment, for the time being, on the domestic market. And I think one of the lineups of this new GPU, I think it got a more aimed stuff there for AI workloads, even though they are launching gaming GPUs. Again, gaming is a huge market in China. Everybody's trying to get in there, especially Western developers there. Yeah, hopefully it's something that gains traction, and they starting on building up from there and improving their technology and their chip manufacturing, specifically on gaming GPUs, and probably go international. And hopefully we will have some competition from Nvidia, AMD, and Intel. Hopefully is still around to be competitive, even if it is on the lower end of the performance. But yeah, more competition usually breeds good products at a better price. Hopefully, again, it's one player in the market. Hopefully, they can go about it and be successful. And then lastly, we got here. I remember covering this from Nacom. I think they are screwing the pooch for a change. We saw Spider Studios. Now it's shut down. I covered this, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Nacom, again, I think they rushed a lot of games here, poor quality. And Spider's Studio, which been in operation for 18 years now, shut down. Again, I think the last game that they did with some renown, or at least with some decent reviews, was still Rising, kind of a Souls-like kind of a game there with Belle Epoque. To a certain degree, it was kind of Lysopai kind of a theme there, Dark Souls like kind of a game. Did have like decent reviews, but again, it was not something that popped out of the ordinary. But yeah, they shut down, and again, it will continue to see this specifically from Western studios. Again, I think one of the problems mainly is budget for the games, and lack of focus and vision. When you have these huge budgets, you try to put a lot of people there, and then you just increases the risks of the game as to be successful for the studio to be kept alive. Again, we will continue to see this for the foreseeable future. A lot of smaller studios, medium studios shutting down because projects fails, because again, they don't, let's say, meet the expectation of the corporations that own these studios. But yeah, we need to see better games, less focus on microtransactions, and just the infinite growth model of for you to be successful, you have to have, I don't know, 5 times the income from the expenses. Studios need to be a little bit more agile. I don't know. We'll continue to see this. We already saw some studios that been working, I don't know, from some of them 30 years making games, and all of a sudden they have to shut down because, again, people, I don't know, they just don't like what they are putting out there. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news for today. We're just going to wrap up with some gaming deals. We have Dead Space Remake. 75% off. I do recommend this game. I made a series out of it. My overall feelings is basically if you played Dead Space when it came out, it basically feels the same. Improved visuals. The game is pretty good, smooth. Some extra stuff there regarding some combat, and even the lore exposition is a little bit different because, again, the original game and the sequels, everybody was exposed. Everybody kind of knows what Dead Space is, so there is no mystery there. So the lore itself presents in a different way. But yeah, the only nitpick that I have is opening some doors. There is some stuttering or even some freeze, like maximum 1 second. when it's basically you can see that it's something loading in the background. Other than that, the games feel smooth. The combat feels okay. Again, it reminded me when I played the original when it came out. We got also Jusant. Again, this is another game that I already that I played. I can recommend, and I made a series out of it, and it's 60% off. Planet of Lana, same thing. Recommend, stamp of approval. I really like this game. 70% off. I made a series out of it. If you are curious about it, you can check the first episode. And then there is already the Planet of Lana 2. You can buy a bundle if you want, 20% both games. But if you want to get a go, I do recommend Planet of Lana. Especially at this price point. We got also the Jedi, Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order, and Survivor. Again, I made a series of both games. I recommend them when they are on sale. I don't think it justifies the full price yet, specifically Fallen Order, mainly because of, again, it's not very well optimized per se for the full price there. But again, story is interesting. I'm not a lore expert from Star Wars, so I don't know if it has anything incompatible there. But I did like the story there. The Inquisitors are very interesting characters. Yeah, I really did enjoy this one, and basically Jedi Survivor expands a little bit there in terms of gameplay, lore, story, improves a little bit over the previous one. Um, uh, the performance again, Jedi Survivor is not the best, also, but I can recommend specifically at this price point, 80% off, 85% off. I can recommend at this price point to give it a go. But then again, if you're reticent, you can check out a couple episodes here and there to check the performance for yourself. The main complaints here a little bit off in terms of graphic wise, some stuttering here and there, but also some bug glitches here and there, but not persistent to the point I want to quit the game. But yeah, a little bit of improvement on the first one, and I think they are already working on the third game. Not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I can recommend at this price point. But yeah, with all that said, I'll wrap up here with a plug of my Patreon. Again, I don't do anything exclusive here. It's more people have an option to, if they want to support my hobby here, they have this way of going about it. But yeah, other than that, I will try to do some live stream today later on. Cannot promise anything. Other than that, I hope you have a full day, and I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.